What's going on, everybody? I'm Joshua.
And I'm Isaiah.
And we would like to thank you for listening to the Reasonably Prepared podcast,
A preparedness resource for the complete beginner.
Look, we are here to help you on your preparedness journey
Without the paranoia, fear, and doomsday often associated with preparedness.
If you find our podcast helpful, please subscribe and leave a comment letting us know. But now, on with the show. Awesome. Well, welcome back to the Reasonably Prepared podcast.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. This is Isaiah.
I'm Joshua.
Reasonably prepared.
We are so glad that you tune in. You know what? I always do that. Leah would always call me out on saying tune in.
Yeah.
That's what you do with radios.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's no tuning on this. It's just you subscribe. Actually, speaking of which, I always do it. Why don't you do it this time, Isaiah?
Yeah, let's get some
formalities out
of the way, some housekeeping issues. All right. Go visit our YouTube channel, Reasonably Be Prepared. Do all the fun stuff. Watch those videos. Like, subscribe, share, comment. We love comments.
Yes.
Do we love comments?
I do.
Oh, I do too.
Hey, good, bad, ugly, pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's all engagement for our channel, so you know.
We like talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess keep it cordial. Look, hey, I'll say this. If you're leaving comments that are just blatantly disrespectful and terrible, what's really cool is I have the option to delete you.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, man, have fun. Like, comment, subscribe.
Also, we are going to be ramping up our social media presence.
Specifically Facebook, and probably Instagram
and the gram. So I am going to be behind all that.
Sweet.
So you guys will be seeing that soon. So the
Awesome.
Facebook group will be up and running.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna do the gram.
We're gonna do the gram. You want to do the gram? Okay.
Yeah.
Website. Reasonablyprepared.com.
Absolutely. Yep. Go to our website, reasonablyprepared.com, where is that where the merch is?
Yeah, you can get through merch. I think it's labeled swag or merch. It might be merch. Anyway, yeah, and you
great
can get
merchandise.
Yeah. So you go to the website. We're gonna, we'll post. You can get to the podcast through the website. You can get to the merch through the website. You can get to the YouTube channel through the website. Everything you can go through that. So reasonablyprepared.com. Check that out.
And our Patreon account.
Yes.
And that will support this channel, help us do bigger and better things, get us out on location, do a lot more things.
Yeah, it enables us to do the reviews on the products because we have the margin and the money to be able to do that. So if there's anything you want us to test, let us know. If there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know. You can email us at reasonablyprepared@gmail.com. And let us know how to better serve you, our listeners.
For the low price of $3.
Yeah, right now there's a single tier of $3, and we will be adding tiers to Patreon once again to better serve you and give you guys way more value and stuff, and T-shirts and stickers. And once again, we keep discussing this. Everybody wants hats.
Got to do hats.
I have two hats that I wear. I've got my flat cap, and then I buy a hat from Academy with American flag on it, on it, because it fits right.
Awkward.
And all these other hats, they're just way too big on my dome.
Yeah.
They sit there like a cowboy hat, and anyway. So, but so many people are asking for hats.
Love hats.
All right, Isaiah, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about water.
Water. So we've been talking about a lot of philosophical things, like reasons why and the prepper journey and like education and stuff. But we decided we wanted to start getting really, really practical to help people out. And we wanted to start with water. Why are we starting with water?
It is the number one priority.
It is.
Absolutely. And, you can only go 3 days without it.
3 days without water. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, right? Typically, we all have good, clean air. I mean, it's generally air is unless you're in a war-torn area.
Right, unless, a big bomb drops.
Right, it's, everybody would be dying if there was no air.
Correct.
So next on the list is water. And we get asked a lot, I'm thinking about, I want to be more prepared, and I'm realizing that the world we live in is kind of tumultuous and things are getting really unsettling, and I don't know what to do, and where do I even begin? Do I go buy literally people have, and I don't know why people go to this first, but like, should I buy just like a bunch of, should I go buy a gun first? And I'm like, well, I mean, sure if you want, but that's,
How much water you got?
yeah, seriously. Like, okay, you know what? Yes, go buy a gun. But as far as preparedness is concerned, calm down, take a deep breath. How much water do you have?
Yes.
Okay. And people are like, seriously? Start there? And I'm like, yeah. Here's why. Here's why we start with water.
Lay it out for us.
People in today's society, Western culture, United States specifically, which is where we live, barring third world countries, which water supply is super limited in those areas. There are people without access to clean drinking water and things like that. But for those of us who have the luxury of having limitless amounts of clean water,
Right. We just turn on a switch.
yeah, let's go over the eye-opening, realistic assessment of how much water we actually consume. We consume so much more water than we understand that we do, because it's so just second nature that when you turn on the spigot, water comes out.
Yeah, and you grow up in America here, and you don't realize,
Right.
and yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, once again, we have swimming pools out back full of water. That is constant supply. So let's go over number one, the why. We can do that. So there's this really incredible story of Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton was an explorer, wanted to explore Antarctica, and took 27 men up into Antarctica. I've got the notes here. Up in Antarctica on a boat called. Let me see here. On a boat called.
This is starting to sound kind of like Gilligan's Island.
I know, but but not tropical. Right? So his ship was called the Endurance.
Nice.
Ironically, and in 1915, on November 21st, 1915, they watched it sink to through the ice into the bottom.
Can you
of the
imagine?
ocean. Bro, in Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Yeah, 27 men, right?
Just standing out there, and then the worst thing happens. They're right home.
The thing sinks, right? Yeah. And so they trekked across 800 miles over ice in little lifeboats, and miraculously, through his leadership, everyone survived.
Wow.
Right? And I was reading the story about him, and there was this awesome quote, and the quote says, "Lack of water is always the most severe privation that man can be condemned to endure." They condemned to endure is lack of water.
Condemned. Wow.
And you have to have water. We have to be hydrated. Water aids in digestion, aids in cognitive ability, motor function, all of these things. Your nervous system, everything is
mental health.
Supplied by water, right? And so let's do this. Let's break down how much water we actually consume here in the U.S. So according to the EPA, I went and did a bunch of research and looked it up. We're going to go over top 6 ways we consume water, and we'll go over some minor ones, and we'll add this up, right? So the number one water consumer in a home.
Dishwasher.
No.
Just a regular faucet.
No.
Washing machine.
Toilet. Yeah, I think it was a toilet.
That's awesome.
We consume on average 18.5 gallons per person per day when you flush. Consider your every time you use the restroom, you're flushing 1 to 3 gallons of water.
Wow.
At a time.
Unbelievable.
Depending on the size of your toilet.
Right.
1 to 3 gallons every time you use the restroom. So if you're drinking water and you use the restroom, then you 18.5 gallons on average. Some of us more, some of us less of using the toilet. Okay.
Wow.
Then washing machines use about 15 gallons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be high.
Yeah, on your washing machine. Okay. Even the high efficiency ones use a lot of water for just per load, right?
And I know here in the States, the washing machines are huge compared to other places.
Yeah, ours is massive because we're a family of 6. You're a family of 6.
Family of 6.
And it on average, 15 gallons per person per day, is what a washing machine does on average. So once again, we're just kind of averaging these things out. Your shower, okay? Consider this. Consider you go buy a high efficiency. we're just trying to make aware. You buy a high efficiency flower head. Oh, goodness gracious. Just punch me in the face so I can speak properly. We buy a high efficiency shower head
Right.
at like 1.5 gallons a minute, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are around 2 to 2.5 gallons a minute. They go down as low as 1. So we'll just use a 2 gallon per minute mile marker.
That's fair.
Right?
That's
2
fair.
gallons per minute.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo,
Yeah.
and I'll go into that in a minute. How long do you typically take a shower for?
Probably about 20 minutes.
So that's another, on average, is 20 minutes.
20
I'm
minutes.
aware. My showers last like 8 minutes.
Wow.
Number
we're
one-
not going to even talk about your timing your showers.
Bro, I don't, because I don't like being wet, right? So my showers are so fast, and they're usually pretty cold showers. I just get in, soap up, shampoo, and I get out of there.
You're
So-
the LaCroix, what is it? The LaCroix or what's that flavored water?
yeah,
LaCroix. Yeah. You're the LaCroix of showers, just a whisper,
Of a
whisper
shower.
of a shower.
Those things are so gross.
So gross.
Why do people drink those things? I don't understand it. And like and then they're the adult version of the hard seltzers. I don't understand it.
Yeah, don't get it.
I was at a UFC fight. Not at the fight, excuse me. I was at my brother's house where we're watching UFC, and there were those seltzers there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I tried one. It was not good. I got like 3 sips into it. I was like, why do people drink these things?
Right.
Anyway,
And my wife bought one, yeah. And
oh my gosh, they're
coconut and lime. Oh, man.
This was a black cherry
Ugh,
one.
yuck.
Anyway, back on track. So your showers, let's do the math, at 2 gallons per minute
Right.
at 20 minutes.
Ooh. Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
2,
that's-
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16,
Yeah,
18,
40.
20. Right. 40
40
gallons of water
Down the drain.
per shower.
Yep.
Your bathtub can hold 60 gallons. So if you're filling up a bath every day, you just unplug 60 gallons of water. Typically, on average, brushing teeth, getting some water, things like that, your faucet is about 11 gallons per person per day.
Okay.
And your dishwasher is about 1 gallon, about a gallon,
not bad.
1 to 2 gallons per
Compared to
person
the
per
others,
day.
yeah.
Per person per day. It uses more than that, but it's averaging out over per person.
Okay.
So we really, 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 really fast rack up 60 to 100 gallons per person per day
Wow.
on basic water consumption in daily life. Right?
Yep.
We do.
Yeah, and you don't realize until it's gone
Right.
how much you rely on it.
You
use it.
Bro.
Yeah.
So we ran out of water when
Right.
in the drought in California. Did you live up there when we went through that?
No.
Or you had moved?
I had moved already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was, I think it was 2015, massive drought ran through California. We lived on we lived on 14 acres in the middle of nowhere, and realizing
It was
that
gorgeous out there.
yeah, it was so
It
beautiful.
was gorgeous.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. It was rad. We had no real neighbors, and it was kind of a prepper paradise. And, and we'll go over some of the things we have. Anyway, so our well was starting to not produce consistently, and we put a 1,500 gallon tank on the well so that when it did produce, it would store water. When it was working,
Right.
It would pull everything out of the ground. And then I installed a 2,500 gallon rainwater system on the house, knowing that we could potentially run out of water. And Lee and I have gone over this before, and at a previous episode, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but to make a long story short, we ran out of water. And you don't realize what mentally happened to you when something that is always just there
Right.
is gone now.
Kind of makes sense, that quote that you were saying, that you're condemned.
Right.
It does feel kind of.
I mean,
that
imagine
way.
you wake up literally, it feels like this. Imagine you wake up in the morning and you're in your PJs and you go to your closet and you open your closet and all your clothes are gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, what am I going to wear?
Right. What do I do?
Times 100.
Yeah.
So it was a really hard lesson to learn, and a lot of mental hurdles when we opened the faucet and nothing happens, and we were without water long enough that we actually even started burning through. We burned
Your
through
reserves.
that. Well, because the rainwater harvest system as well, and once again, if you're in a drought, what are you not getting?
Water.
Rain
Oh, rain, yeah. From the sky.
from the sky,
Water from the sky.
refilling your harvest system. So I mean, given that you're doing 100 gallons, and then we were also trying, like, we had a garden that we had water, okay, that we needed the water. We had a yard that we needed to keep water to some degree.
Right.
Otherwise, the goat heads would take over.
Yeah, they were bad.
Right, and they don't like the goat heads and star thistle don't like the water. They come in and dry our climate. So we were able to keep them at bay if we had some water. But really, the garden.
Right.
You know, we had to water our garden and if you're in the middle of an extreme drought and you're trying to grow vegetables, you got to have water. So water is so ridiculously important.
Right.
Okay. And running out of water, you don't realize the mental hurdles you'll have to go through. So we're bringing it up as super important because it's ironically the easiest prep to start with.
Right.
It's the easiest now when everything's good.
Right.
It's the easiest place to start because we literally can go to the store. Hey, buddy. We're filming right now, kiddo. That's my. Got a studio that's on my home property, and sometimes the kids just walk in, which is awesome.
It's called life.
Yeah, life. Anyway, where was I?
Well, when you don't have water, like you're saying, water's gone.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no. People don't realize how much they need the toilet. I mean, it's like you can't use a toilet
and
without water.
That's another way we burned through a bunch of that 2,500 tank. Oh my gosh. Once again, just punch me in the face. If you punch me in the face, maybe I'll start speaking correctly. We burned through 2,500 gallons because we were bringing water to flush the toilets.
Yep.
You know, it was non-potable water. We weren't drinking it. We had stored water we were drinking. Right. So that's just one scenario. Let's go over a couple another scenarios and these are real world scenarios, actually happen, not doomsday paranoia, that give practical reasons why we need to do water, and then we'll go over ways you can store water. But so there was a drought in California. We ran out of water. We actually ran out of water. You run out of water,
right? With hurricanes, because I live next to the coast, and the area that I live in. Is notorious for flooding. I mean,
H-Town floods so easy. You can sneeze and I-10 will cover water.
Absolutely. I mean, H-Town's drainage is horrible.
Yeah, and people just keep moving there.
Right. And it's old swampland.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But, you built a city on a swampland. Yeah. But, hurricanes like Hurricane Harvey, I mean, people were without water for months.
Yes, some for months. How long did you guys? And Matt, my brother, he was on the podcast a little bit ago talking about the hurricane, disaster preparedness plans. Go check that one out. And he lost his home and had to have his home rebuilt and wasn't even on his land for 6 months.
Wow.
But how long you guys were in a different part of the city? So how long were you affected?
We were
with
up
water?
north. We were up north of Houston, and we weren't affected too long at all.
But okay, a day or a week?
A couple days.
A few days, but no tap water. Right.
We didn't have any. We didn't have a rain catchment system or anything like that. So, luckily, I always fill up the bathtub.
Oh, when you know a storm's coming.
When a storm's coming, that's. I've been doing that most of my life, and so when I know a big storm's coming, I say, "Hey, let's get the bathtubs filled up just in case," and that's just for the toilets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, not to get too political on this one here, but Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan.
Flint, Michigan's water supply.
Everyone's heard of Flint, Michigan, right?
Oh, I would assume so. But high levels of lead and what was the
Legionnaire's
disease?
Wow.
Like pneumonia on crack, I guess.
Really bad pneumonia.
Yeah, and they had in some areas they had a do not drink at all. In other areas they had a boil only. But there's a water supply went toxic, full on toxic, and you couldn't drink it. So we've now got an entire area with terrible water, and it was a crisis for them.
Right. I mean, people died.
Yeah,
people died. There was, I think, at least 12, and I don't think the local government was doing much about it, but.
Right.
Not to get
they
too
were
political.
Oh, but they were to blame, and I mean it was a mess. We'll just call it that. What it is? It was a mess across the board, and the poor people of Flint, Michigan, I think, are still trying to pick up the pieces from it. This many time later. Okay, so a month and a half ago, ironically, was it 2 months ago? Because it's so nice outside right now, it feels like it never happened. I can't say it feels like it never happened, but when it did happen, it was catastrophic. Texas froze.
completely frozen.
And it was
it's-
literally like a month or two ago.
yeah, I mean, in Houston, it was 8 degrees. 8 degrees.
I know.
It's unheard of.
So broken water pipes,
Yep.
no water. People were panic buying water. And so do you remember? Yeah, we talked about this one before. The conversation you and I had in the store about water.
Right. Yep.
Okay, and we're gonna bring it. We'll bring it up again. You tell the story. 'Cause,
Yeah. So we're standing in the middle of the store, and
we were already. I think if I remember correctly, because we always talk about stuff like this. We're
Yeah.
at the store buying some food and beer. I know I was gonna have you tell the story, but I just want to preface it then. Sorry, because I remember you were new to moving up to Northern California, and we were talking about like, like things to buy, things to outfit. What can
Right.
we do? You know, it's a new area. I've never lived in the mountains before,
Correct,
and so then I started talking about preparedness and being a prepper, and I've always tried to educate people on that. And
to be fair, I was asking.
yeah, no, and you were asking, and this is a case in the reason I bring it up is a case in point is I always start with water, and here's why. Go ahead, you can go to the store.
So we're standing in the middle of the store, and Joshua just goes, if there was something to happen right now, just right this second, and just the people in this store were to go get water, how much water would be left?
Yeah, they would have panicked buy water.
Yeah. How much water would be left, and they have some water in the back, I'm sure. But what really blew my mind was the amount of food that most stores carry,
Yes.
You don't really think about it because there's always food or water on the shelves.
Yeah. So what we did was we counted up the number of people we could see within eyesight. We're standing there. So you do this for yourself. Someday. Go to the store and we counted the number of people who were within eyesight, and I said, okay, every single person within eyesight buys 5 gallons of water. Right? They just panic buy 5 gallons of water. And there are some places that will limit you in an emergency to 2 to 5 gallons, right? So they all buy 5 gallons of water. How much water's on the shelf? There was
Zero.
There was very little water on the shelf after that in this particular grocery store. Let's say Walmart's a little bit bigger, but Walmart's also going to have more people than this grocery store did, right? So when we did the math, we realized, okay, the people that are watching right now or that we can see right now almost cleaned this one shelf off. Okay, let's say they've got another 1 or 2 shelves worth of
in the back.
gallons of water, and then the flats of water in the back. That means inside of an hour, this grocery store will not have any more water in it at all.
Right. Depleted.
Completely depleted inside of 1 hour.
Yep.
And they're not going to be getting, there's no more in the back, and they've got 3 days before another shipment's coming in.
Right.
But that's only 1 hour.
Right.
So a
Mind-blowing.
new shipment or not, that water is gone.
Right.
In an emergency. And yet, right now, when there's no emergency and the sun is shining and we're all on our merry way, we walk past the water aisle while it's full.
While it's full.
Right? And so the frozen thing is one. So wildfires. We lived in Northern California. Wildfires will knock out water supplies and ways to get water. Power outages will do it. Freezing pipes, drought. These are all real, actual reasons to do this. Okay. So going back to the walking up and down the water aisle, let's start. We start with water because it is the easiest, lowest hanging fruit, the fastest win in prepper world.
Yep.
And our recommendation, and this is hard, consider that if we're using 60 to 100 gallons of water a day, the mental switch that you have to make is rough, but the FDA and FEMA and the Red Cross, they recommend 1 gallon per person per day. I have found that that's not even remotely
Right. Just an
even
experience.
remotely kind of good enough.
Yeah,
right.
just from your personal
Yeah,
experience.
they theorize that that's basically half a gallon for drinking and a half a gallon for cooking, right? But once again, it doesn't take into account all of the other real world things we go. We have to brush our teeth.
Right.
We have to go to the bathroom. We have to wash our hands and keep them clean.
Yeah.
We have to wash dishes. Cooking. Cooking. And so we recommend the starting point. This is your starting point of 2 gallons
2 gallons.
per person per day for a minimum of 3 days. 3 days will buy you an initial, the acute buffer. So, if, like for instance, the 3 days worth of water would have been it was fine during the
was
freeze.
fine, right.
Right.
Yep.
And we did that per person per day in our home. We have that stored up, and then we also do an extra water because during the freeze we had people in our home staying with us, and you had your mother-in-law
I had
with
my
you,
mother-in-law,
right?
absolutely.
We had 2 other families staying with us, right? So we recommend going out and buying 2 gallons per person per day for 3 days from the store, not in the milk jug style containers. Don't buy the milk jug style ones. Buy the longer rectangular ones with a little handle on top.
And
That's
a
it's a
spout.
yeah. It's a stronger. Well, no, not the 2.5 gallon ones. The clear ones with the 1 gallon.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to put a picture of it.
Hawaiian punch.
Yeah, the
bottle.
Hawaiian
Yeah.
Punch type bottle.
Yeah.
Because they store well and they can stack well, and
Not
just
sponsored.
and you can put them under your bed, you can put them in a closet, you can put them in your basement, you can put them in your attic, you can put them, and they will last for a very long time, and they're just good to have. If you read an expiration date on them, just be mindful to rotate through. So what Leah does is every time she goes grocery shopping, every time she buys a gallon of water for everybody in the house. They're 88 cents a piece.
Yeah.
It doesn't break the bank. So every time she goes grocery shopping, we go grocery shopping. And I mean the big bulk one, like the 2-week one. And so that's an easy, simple way to get on top of water consumption. Buy a gallon. Go ahead.
We buy the bottled water flats. Just
Those
a
are good to have
bunch
as
of
well.
bottled water.
Yeah.
And we have a membership to one of those big box stores where you buy lots of bulk stuff. I mean, it's like $3 for 50 bottles of water.
Right.
$3.
Right.
So we grab 2 or 3 of those at a time.
And put them on the shelf.
Yep.
In your garage.
Put them
or
on my shelf
in
the
your
garage
preps.
and-
Yeah.
Yep. And we cycle through that. I mean, we use it at the house, but
Yeah.
we cycle through it and we buy a lot of water.
Yeah, the milk jug style ones, the plastic is really crappy.
Yeah.
It's really crappy plastic. They break down really
leak.
easy. They leak, they leach. So just steer clear of those and get the thicker, clear ones. So that's a good place to start, right? And then you've got stored water. Okay, so you want to store some water and have that ready to go. Your next step is going to be learning how to purify water that is maybe gone bad.
Right.
And or let's say you've got all those jugs we're talking about and they're 3-4 years old and you just want to make sure they're safe. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to boil it.
Right.
I'm not trying to talk down anybody, but just in case you don't, the easiest way to boil it and the recommended boil
Tried and true.
Yeah, tried and true.
Tried and true.
The recommended boil temperatures are going to be 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius if you have, if you live not in a normal
Well, I know during the freeze,
metric system. Yep.
during the freeze that was just here recently, we were put on a boil water notice, and we had to boil all of our water.
Right.
We had water. Our pipes didn't break. We did have water, but we couldn't use it unless we boil it.
Okay. Well, there you go. So 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius for a minimum of a minute. Okay. Now, here's a caveat. Boiling water does not get rid of chemical contaminants.
Right.
Only
Bacteria.
bacteria, viruses, things like that. Yeah. Biological contaminants. It'll get rid of biological. So don't go outside and grab a bunch of water, from a mud puddle and think you can filter it through a cloth and boil it and it'll be safe to drink. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
The bacteria, the biological contaminants will be killed, but there will still be oil and things from cars and tires, right? And so that's the first place you can do to purify water to make it suitable for drinking, if it's reasonable. Now, that being said, you can, like river and lake water and creek water, yes, that can be boiled. Typically, there are not usually chemical contaminants in those. It's just biological contaminants. And you can make water, lake water, creek water, and river water safe to drink by boiling it.
Okay.
Yeah, by boiling. You can do that. You just want to steer clear of anywhere that there might be, the rainbow oil slicks and stuff like that. You want to steer clear of that type of water. Your next thing that you can do, and a lot of people just have this lying around, is basic chlorine bleach will purify water.
Yeah.
Okay. You can don't use the scented stuff. Don't use the
real thick stuff.
The real thick, super concentrated, condensed stuff. You want just basic, either 6% or 8.25% chlorine bleach. Okay. And you can go on the internet and look for the recipes. I'm not a recipe guru, but I did find a couple. And on basically what you're looking at is for 1 gallon of water, you're going to use 6 drops. We keep a droplet drop thing, little drop thing, in our ice box, specifically for if we need to use the bleach to purify the water. So for 1 gallon, it's 8 drops of the 8.25% mixture. And if you've got the 6% mixture, 6 drops of the 8.25% mixture, and 8 drops of the 6% per gallon. So really just, 6 to 7 drops, depending,
Not a lot.
Yeah, on either one of those are going to do you. And yes, it's going to taste like pool water, but it'll be safe to drink. Once again, will not get rid of chemical pollutants, but it will get rid of biological pollutants.
The bugs.
Yeah, the bugs. Like Legionnaire's disease.
Yeah.
In Flint, Michigan.
Yep.
Of course, they had lead, too. You're not boiling lead out of water. All right, so you've got boiling water and you've got bleach. Those are, like, very easy, very readily accessible, very, very fast thing. You just we keep an extra gallon. Bleach does have a shelf life, so look at that. But we keep that for all. And bleach has so many uses, but we keep it for killing all kinds of buggies and germs. But all right, so then your next thing is going to be a water purification. You can do water purification tablets.
Right.
So they're like iodine tablets. You found a new thing that we're going to actually do a video on. So once again, subscribe to the channel for other content. But it's called P&G.
P&G.
Right. P&G.
The purifier water stuff. It's awesome.
We're going to do a whole review on that.
It's awesome.
Be on the lookout for that. But it's this stuff that you pour into an amount of water. I think it's like 2 liters to...
Yeah, 2.5 liters per packet.
Right.
And
we're talking swamp water.
Swamp, like dirty,
muddy
lake, swamp water, whatever.
Yeah, and everything we talk about today, once again, is always the case, going to be links in the descriptions on the YouTube channel. They're all affiliate links. They help the channel out. Just want to be transparent. But even if you don't buy it through our link, just click on it and research it. It'll be there for your research. But this P&G will take literal swamp water, muddy, murky, nasty stuff.
Coagulate all of the dirt.
It's weird.
It's really weird. It coagulates all the dirt, and it gets heavier than
and
the actual water.
And it
falls down to the bottom.
And then you just dump out the clean water on top. So we're going to do a review on it, what it tastes like, how it works, how long it takes, all that kind of stuff.
And it's got a little bit of chlorine in there as well.
Yeah, but that's
yeah.
But in a survival situation or a place, then you're going to be happy to have the water. So water tablets, P&G water, so the things that you can add into the water to purify them. Once again, the iodine tablets, don't get rid of chemical tablets, just kills buggies. But this P&G stuff, actually,
it does.
It's magic. I think it must have been invented in New Orleans by voodoo doctors or something, because it's bizarre. But so those are some very simple purifier, add to your water type things you can do. Your next level is going to be actually some type of filtration system, okay? And we both like and have used and own, we're going to do reviews on these, the LifeStraw and the Sawyer systems. These are going to be portable, very small. They're very inexpensive. They're like $20, and they'll do an insane amount of water. We're talking about like 100,000 gallons of water that you can filter, and it will do chemical and buggies. Right. So Sawyer water system, LifeStraw. These are, I keep one in my truck, and I keep one in my back, like my hunting pack, my pack that goes with me. I usually have one within arm's reach, so that no matter where I am, like let's say I break down in the woods, I know I've at least, and I need to get out, I have water.
And they're relatively cheap.
That's what I'm saying, like $20.
Yeah, they're awesome. And you can't rely on this for long term, but you can't filter your water to wash dishes or brush teeth.
Right. That'd be purely for drinking.
Just for drinking, but you could account it for maybe half of your water consumption for that day. 1 gallon per day per family member for drinking.
Right. And they're really cool. They're really cool systems. I mean, they send these devices to third world countries, to war-torn places, to places that have been hit hard by natural disasters, because they're so effective at harvesting clean drinking water, specifically clean drinking water. So that's, once again, LifeStraw, Sawyer. Another thing that we did in our home, and I think you have one in your house as well, is we installed a reverse osmosis system. Okay, and although it's city water coming in, it's going to filter out like bad things in city water that I don't want to drink, and a bunch of minerals, things people don't like. But it does get rid of a lot of bacteria, a lot of germs and buggies and things like that, and it makes the water taste better, and we just kind of feel a bit more secure having that. And so a reverse osmosis system under counter, ours is like a 3-gallon reverse osmosis. It took me and my son like 30 minutes to install it. It was really fast.
Nice.
We really like it. We bought it on Amazon, so we'll put in an affiliate link for that. It was like, I don't know, $200 or something like that.
That's not bad.
No, it was like $200. And what it also enables us to do is when I have empty gallons of water, I feel safe just putting that in there and storing it, because there's not so much stuff in it that it's going to,
go bad.
Yeah, go bad and create bacteria and things like that. And so when I do empty out a gallon or drink a whole gallon of water when I'm out in the oil field, because I work in the oil field, I just bring them home and then I refill them, and I've got extra stored water.
Nice.
And it at least, at bare minimum, becomes non-potable water, right? But so a reverse osmosis system is a good filtration system as well. That would be for in-home. You can do it all house one. Ours is localized to our kitchen sink. So that's another good filtration system. Here, another filtration system that almost all of my family has. Many of my friends have. I don't think you have one.
I do not.
Okay.
No.
And I know I have friends who have them. And this system that I'm about to talk about is really cool, because instead of when they go camping and they're going camping and on vacation, they just take this with them, and they literally scoop up 2 to 3 gallons worth of lake water, and it turns it into clean drinking water. So they don't buy and bring in water when they go camping, which saves them money. They will use it because it's a really good purifier and filtration system for just basic home water, and that's called the Berkey system.
It's been tested, and it's awesome. The
It's
Berkey
amazing.
system.
A lot of people don't like the initial upfront cost, but look, it's made out of stainless steel. Okay, so it's not going to go bad. It's awesome, and you can use it for so many other things. Like I just said, hunting trips. I've got a buddy who just the thing collapses down, and he takes he's got one that stays in his camping and hunting gear in his camper, and he's like, I don't ever truck water in. I just make sure that I'm camping somewhere there's water, and then I scoop up the water, and I have clean drinking water. It's so effective that it will actually filter out dye.
Wow.
So if you put red food coloring in it, clean, non-colored drinking water comes out the other side.
Dude, we should put all kinds of stuff through that.
We should.
Like Coke.
Coca-Cola,
yeah. What would that be like?
It'll clog up the filters, but I wonder if I could reach out to Berkey and if they would let us.
That'd be awesome.
Like torture test.
Oh, man.
And see
that would be fun.
What we can turn into clean drinking water.
Orange juice.
Yeah.
Through the Berkey.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to clog the filters to some degree, I'm sure. But hey, Berkey, we want to test out we want to do a whole thing on it. So reach out. We'll do a torture test and have fun with it, But they're really incredible systems. And, even during the hard freeze in Texas, because my parents have the Berkey system, they had no water. And what they did was they put big buckets, like Rubbermaid containers, outside while it was snowing. And then they would bring those in, let the snow melt, and just dump it into the Berkey, and they had endless water. Yep. And it's clean drinking water.
Right.
And then the other stuff they would just let melt and use it for flushing the toilet, washing the hands, and things like that, because they didn't have any water. So the Berkey system is really good. Doing the research, I strongly recommend, and don't waste your money on the Brita, pure faucet style ones. If you read the print on those, people don't read print enough anymore. But it actually says on there for already processed drinking water.
Wow.
Like municipal waters.
Yep.
It's to do is to get rid of some of the chlorine taste or things like that, and just make your municipal waters a little better tasting.
But so good.
Yeah, but they're not really an effective safety purifier thing. So don't think that, I'm going to just use a Brita it's not gonna a Brita, it's not gonna do anything if you are using like rainwater or river water. It's not gonna do anything at all.
Yeah, like putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, they get expensive. The cartridges get expensive. They're like $40-$50 up front, and then the cartridges are like $10. Your money's going to be better spent on a Berkey system long term.
Right.
Okay, because those things, their filters last a very long time and can filter a lot of gallons.
My father-in-law had a Berkey, and he actually, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but he would reuse the actual filters, and he'd just wash them out, clean them out, and he'd reuse them. He said it was fine, but I wouldn't suggest doing it. But
I don't know that
they last a long time.
They last a very long time.
They last a long time.
So when you do the cost long term, I was watching a camping video of somebody else on a different channel, and I would pitch him right now, but I just can't remember the name of it, which sucks. But he was doing a whole breakdown of the Berkey and how he's owned one for 3 years, and how much water they filtered through it. And did the cost analysis, and he said after about a year and a half with how much they go camping and how much they spend, it was an outdoors channel.
Okay.
With how much time they spend outdoors, the thing paid for itself.
No.
Yeah, because they weren't buying, the disposable gallons of water. And then here's another really awesome thing: you're not creating trash.
Right.
Right. Yes. I like having the bottles of water on the shelf for storage in case we need it, but the reverse osmosis. We bought our kids stainless steel water containers, and we used to keep flats of water in the back of the truck. Now, that being said, we still keep water in our vehicles, but it's for emergency.
Yeah.
But when my kids are going hiking and camping and doing things, we use the reverse osmosis water, and they fill up their stainless steel things, and we go out and about, and they've got water all day, right?
Right.
So that means we're not creating a lot of plastic. We're not creating bunch of trash. And I'm not even trying to go into like global warming and all of that, but just the reality is like it's just less trash that I have to store and throw away in my trash can. It's just less waste I have to manage, right? And less money that I'm spending on that waste. So we that's why those Berkeys. So when you do the cost analysis of all of those sorts of things, they pay themselves off within a year or two. When you're looking at it that way, so or the like the reverse osmosis, things like that. And what's good about the Berkeys, it's pretty easy to transport. You can take it with you if you have to evacuate. Like my reverse osmosis system is stuck in my house,
Right.
So although I like it and it's good, it's stuck there. I can't take it with me. I can take the life straws with me, but that's also not helping out like the entire family with just on. So if we evacuate because of a fire, if we evacuate because of a hurricane, if we evacuate because of a storm, we've got to go stay somewhere. Either we're camping or we're going to a hotel or whatever the evacuation looks like. The Berkey enables you to take
mobile. You're mobile.
Another swamp water,
Right.
dirty river swamp water, and turn it into clear, clean drinking water.
Crisp and clean.
Yeah. They do recommend that and they're not a sponsor. I wish they were. Actually, we already said that, right?
Yep.
We already said, hey, reach out to us because we want to work with you, Berkey. But
Man, awesome.
But they do recommend, if it's really murky water, filtering it through some sort of like maybe cheesecloth or just
Get the big stuff out.
just filter through your dirty sock maybe.
Awesome.
Filter it through your dirty socks. That'll work. And filter, get the bigger particulates out, the mud and the dirt and stuff like that, so that it just looks like dirty, cloudy water. And then otherwise you'll clog up those filters. The same thing with the life straws, things like that. You don't want to get like mud and stuff, and it's just going to clog it up, and you can't use it. You still want relatively clean, I guess would be it. Water, but just get rid of the mud and dirt. Yeah, so filter it through cheesecloth or some sort of mesh filter or something like that. What? Coffee filter?
Coffee filter.
Coffee filter, would work fine. And look at that. And so, man, I can't think of anything else as far as water storage, water purification. That's this is by no means the most exhaustive, right?
Right.
But I wanted to give you a good place to start.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a really good place to start. And so hopefully that simplifies and maybe opens your eyes up to, one, the amount of water that we actually consume and get you thinking about that, because it's mind-boggling when I really started doing the research, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was that much water.
What happens if, say, something happens, you've got an emergency, and you didn't store water?
you don't have any.
You don't have any. But I want to go through just a small little list of things in your house that you could get water from in case of emergency.
Okay, so let's do that. Yeah, we're good. I forgot about that. I started winding down. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So there is, if you don't have water stored, there are actually other places for you to garner some water in an emergency if you have to.
If you have to.
Right. That we don't often think about.
Right. So you have a hot water heater.
Yeah.
Usually about 45, 55 gallons.
Yeah.
And it's always got water in it. Drain it out. Drain that water out.
You can use that. It's clean water.
Clean water.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people don't think about this one is the back of the toilet, your toilet tank. Now, if you're not using chemicals in it or the little tablets in it to clean your toilet, you could actually use that water in that back tank. I personally would probably boil it. Ooh, gross.
Faux show.
Yeah, faux show. But boil that water, and it's a good amount of water right there.
We usually have residual water in our pipes.
Yep.
And there's usually, like an access point or something of that nature if you were able to relieve the pressure to get it out of the spigot or faucet.
Lowest point.
Lowest point in the house has some stored water as well. Hot water heater. What else? I didn't write any notes for that.
Yeah. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I just wanted to go over that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, that's the water episode. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you found this useful and valuable. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, let us know. Hey, if we forgot anything or if we missed anything,
comment.
Yeah, let us know. Hey, how do you store water? What do you do with water? I mean, there's I went over the easiest to store water, but I mean, we're not going to go over it in detail, but I mean, there are other ways to store water, 55-gallon drums. Right. We did a 2,500-gallon rainwater harvest system. We can go into even more detail, but I just wanted to give a starting point here. Right. So if you want us to break down other bigger, deeper ways to store water, let me know. We can do that. But this is your entry level. This is just the eye opener of water and what we do. And
it's the easiest place to start.
Easiest place to start.
Yep.
Water. And you need it. You got to have it. So all be blessed. Thank you for listening to the Reason to Be Prepared podcast.
Be safe.
Be safe. Be awesome. And remember, just because you're prepared does not mean you are paranoid.
Yeah. Peace. Bye.